You've probably seen it before if you follow the president on Twitter. He sings the praises for the people that he supports. But can the president use that same platform, viewed by millions of people, to promote a book?
It's our big story on 12 News at 6. The president endorses authors, even companies, like no president in modern history. But is it legal? Team 12's Joe Dana joins us to verify. Joe?
President Trump endorsed former spokesman Sean Spicer's new book over the weekend. It's the latest endorsement. Now, the Code of Federal Regulations seems to set it out pretty clear. It states an employee shall not use his public office for the endorsement of any product, service, or enterprise. But the president is not just any employee. As a president-elect, Donald Trump told Americans straight up, buy LL Bean. He routinely pushes books by authors who align with him politically, promotes companies made in the USA, and lavishes praise on one particular cable network whose pundits are especially friendly to him. So is using the presidency to pitch books and brands legal? We asked attorney Daniel Weiner at the Brennan Center for Justice at NYU, a nonprofit that works to reform our country's systems of democracy.
The President of the United States is exempt from most, although not all, federal ethics laws.
He calls President Trump's readiness to endorse products unprecedented in modern politics. But we can verify the president and vice president are immune from those conflict of interest laws. The president's attacks on businesses are unusual as well, whether it's big companies like Amazon or Harley, or a single-owned restaurant like the Red Hen in Lexington, Virginia.
It certainly raises eyebrows to have a president, so routinely kind of attacking American companies.
Daniel says President Trump's penchant for going outside the norms should be a reason, even for Trump supporters, to rethink whether we need laws defining what's acceptable and what's not.
The next president may not be someone who you agree with. It could be a Mark Zuckerberg or an Oprah Winfrey, a liberal business type. So what I would encourage people to do is to really think about this in terms of what sort of government you want to have, and not whether you happen to like this particular president.
And when it comes to the presidency and business, the Brennan Center also tells us they believe President Trump's refusal to divest his own businesses and to release his tax returns represent a more serious break from ethical norms than his decision to endorse a company on a given day. Back to you.